Last time on Robloxian SASUKE, the first stage concluded. The content renewal has already shown its teeth and has shown no mercy to the final 30 competitors. Failures once again continue to dominate the field, but 2 more competitors were skilled enough to make their way to the buzzer and advance through. With 1 course down, it's now time for the 5 remaining competitors to look ahead to what's coming next, and it doesn't get any easier. There's 3 stages left for them to face. Will any of them be able to conquer them all and become the next grand champion of Robloxian SASUKE? Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Dorino, and welcome to the Tournament 4 finale of Robloxian SASUKE. Throughout a total of 3 episodes, 100 competitors attempted the brand new first stage, and now only the survivors remain. 5 competitors are left standing, one of the lowest clear rates in all of RNW, but nothing from this point on can be considered easy. The gauntlet begins on the second stage, a 7-obstacle sprint where speed is of the essence. Beat that and competitors advance to the extended third stage, where 8 of the hardest obstacles ever conceived are waiting to be tackled. And if anyone can get to the end of that stage, they earn the right to take on the final stage, the 170 stud final tower climb for the 2,000 Robux grand prize. That goal is still a long ways away though. The second stage is where these final 5 competitors continue their battle. The second stage looks radically different from how it appeared last tournament, but the fundamentals are still the same. Go fast or you're not getting through. Walk up the stairs to face the first of 2 new obstacles on the stage, Chain Reaction. 2 sliding chains where positioning is everything. Slide the first chain down to the end of its track and time the transition to the second one and then do it all over again. Competitors have to do this one quickly or else this obstacle will eat up a whole lot of time. Once competitors get to the end of the track, instead of heading onto a third chain, the obstacle leads directly into Brick Climb, a returning threat from last tournament. Unchanged since then, competitors have focused on getting up and over this wall in as quick of a time as possible, or else they could be spending a long time hanging off of it. Following that is the redesigned spider walk, and the obstacle has been supersized since last tournament, but it still has the same goal of weaving through the walls to get to the end of it. The difference is that this tournament there's an added element of moving up and down throughout the obstacle, and the complex descent consisting of both a wrap and a tight squeeze to actually make it towards the end of the obstacle. Once competitors get through that, they have Spin Bridge up next, a tough balance obstacle where one mistake can be your undoing. Competitors must stay on top of the 4 free moving balls or else they'll get tripped up and caught up by one of them. Then following that is the Metal Spin, which has been made only tougher since its debut last tournament. Both the mount and the dismount have been increased, meaning that rotating the chain and getting a giant push off of it is more important than ever. This is an obstacle you want to get done as quickly as possible, because both of the final 2 obstacles will eat up as many seconds as possible. Slide down that slide and head on to the next obstacle, and it is the return of the reverse conveyor after a 1 tournament absence. The conveyor is now not only longer, but also moves a little bit faster, so getting here with enough time is a major. And of course, the second stage ends off as per usual with wall lifting, the 3 walls of increasing weight competitors must lift. However, they will find that alongside the aesthetic differences, it has been made a whole lot harder to lift the walls, so finding that perfect technique is more important than it's ever been before. If anyone is able to complete all 7 obstacles on the stage and hit the buzzer within the 60-second time limit, they are through to the third stage. But if they can't, their journey ends here. The second stage has attracted quite a crowd eager to see the first competitor attempt the course. At the bottom of the stairs, is that competitor ready to take it on? It's Comet Wave. Comet is no stranger to getting to the second stage, doing it earlier this year when he made it there in Steel Castle's renewal. While he was ultimately unable to complete the stage, it still showed that he could reach those highs as shown by him getting close to doing so in other past competitions. He's accomplished this very quickly in Robloxian SASUKE, hitting his first buzzer on just his second appearance. After failing Swinging Force in Tournament 3, he wasted no time getting his revenge on the obstacle by doing it in this tournament, with that run not only punching his ticket to the second stage, but also showing that the first stage was possible. Now, Comet Wave is hoping to extend his luck even further by becoming the first to get through the content renewal's second stage. But that is going to be no easy feat. Not only will he have to complete 7 brutal obstacles, but he's also going to have to do it in a very, very fast time as possible. Even though the time limit has been increased by 60 seconds, that is still that's not a lot of time for each of these obstacles. So Comet Wave has a lot in front of him if he wants to be able to be the first to get themselves onto the third stage. His 60-second attack on the second stage begins right now with chain reaction, pushing that chain down. Now has to find that perfect transition there onto the second one, able to get that here. And very, very strong pushes here, and a very, very quick transition into brick climb, liking what I'm seeing so far out of Comet Wave, and a quick transition up to the top of that wall as well. Now on to Spider Walk. No longer has any moving panels. You just got to make sure that you weave through the walls. That's what he's doing. Now the drop here. Got to squeeze through. Perfectly done there. 34 seconds left on the clock for Spin Bridge. First ball goes a little crazy, but he's able to get through nevertheless. Less than half the time left for a metal spin. A big push, but cannot get to the dismount Comet Wave. It was a great attempt, especially for his first ever attempt at the second stage, but the metal spin ultimately does him in, and that is going to be the second victim of that obstacle. But up until that point, he was moving perfectly. Was able to get through chain reaction as the first competitor to attempt it, and also was able to get through Spider Walk, an obstacle he had yet to see anyone attempt, but it was the metal spin that ultimately he could not complete. Was able to get the mount, but really did not get a big push. He kind of pushed it instantly afterwards. What we've seen out of past competitors and past tournaments is that you want to kind of slightly push it and then amp it up towards the end. Comet didn't do that. He just went gung-ho immediately, and that caused him to not even make contact with the landing platform, veering off just a little bit to the right and not being able to land on it. But Comet Wave, what an amazing performance here from him on just his second appearance, nearly being able to get all the way to the third stage. That is something that you've got to be incredibly proud of. An amazing sophomore appearance from Comet Wave. At the bottom of the stairs is someone familiar with this point in the competition. It's Robotic Pie. For 2 tournaments straight, Seabot not only got himself to the second stage, but was also able to complete it, becoming the first person to hold that distinction. However, neither attempt on the third stage would come out victorious, with him even backtracking from his near clear in Tournament 2. Many were expecting a three-peat from Seabot heading into Tournament 3, but his shocking Silk Slider fail started a trend that made many people begin to worry that he had lost the spark that made him one of the biggest names in the community, and that he was a shell of his former self. Those fears would eventually become non-existent though, with Seabot's performances this year being back to what we've come to expect. Seabot's been able to hit a first stage buzzer in a plethora of competitions, showing that he has been able to bounce back, but in 2 of the most notable competitions, Steel Castle and Rising Ninja Warrior, he's yet to even get through 2 obstacles on the second stage. Will that trend continue here, or will his perfect streak on the stage stay alive? Seabot has one of the best track records in Robloxian SASUKE history when it comes to the second stage. Wants to be able to keep that alive here, but this second stage, so brutal. Comet Wave not able to get through it. A lot of these obstacles not even been able to attempt with his fail last tournament on the first stage. He was not able to attempt both the obstacles that debuted on the stage last tournament, which are present here. So Seabot pretty much has a 100% new second stage here if he wants to be able to clear. Onto chain reaction though, able to get onto that second chain, and now has to prepare for the dismount onto brick climb. This is an obstacle that he was not able to face as it debuted last tournament. Swinging that chain back and forth, heading for a little bit sideways, and it cost him there. Didn't properly have it lined up. Seabot, for the first time in Robloxian SASUKE, is out on the second stage, and it's on an obstacle that he's never been able to attempt. If you see it on the replay here, he was swinging back and forth on the chain, but as he was swinging, instead of really going left and right, he started swinging forward and back. That misalignment on the rope caused him to just barely miss that brick that he was trying to get to. And then he just pummeled straight into the water. It's so shocking to see. Seabot had no struggles with the second stage in the first 2 tournaments, but on his third try here, not even able to get through an obstacle on the stage. That just shows how brutal this Constant Renewal's second stage is. Someone who had a 100% clear rate in the past on it is not even able to break through one singular obstacle. Nearly half of the competitors remaining have attempted the second stage, and not a single competitor has been able to get through. The next competitor to run the second stage almost was able to beat it last time, but the metal spin did him in. It's number 61, Volio, ready to take on the second stage for his 3rd tournament in a row. Now, Volio, he cleared the first stage with the lowest time out of everyone left in the competition with 1.7 seconds left remaining. So, with a stage that is all about speed, that is something that he is going to need to really keep in the back of his mind, especially given the fact that in Tournament 2, the last time he was able to clear, he actually was able to clear in a pretty fast time. He was able to clear with a little over 4 seconds left. So he is going to need to channel some of that energy here if he wants to be able to get his second stage clear. And he's already at the end of chain reaction here, approaching the transition. That Seabot just failed, but he's able to get into the brick climb. And now climbing up to the top of that wall and able to get there too. And now he is on to Spider Walk. 40 seconds are left, weaving his way through each of these walls. Now has the tricky drop section, able to get that as well. The next competitor to attempt Spin Bridge has a little bit of a crazy reaction on the first ball, similar to Comet Wave, but here's the obstacle that he failed last time. Get a big push, go for that dismount, he got it! And now we are going to see our first look at reverse conveyor. Less than 20 seconds are left on the clock. This obstacle is going to eat up a whole lot of time, much the same as wall lifting. But if he keeps this pace up, he can clear. Less than 10 seconds are left. He needs to lift these walls super quickly. 5 seconds are left now. He's got 1 wall left. Yes! Volio with 3.4 seconds left on the clock is through the third stage for just his second time. You know, after his last fail in Metal Spin last tournament, I was afraid that he would not be able to get back there again, especially considering this course was so much more difficult. But he was able to go amazingly through this course, beat chain reaction and beat Metal Spin. And also that he went down in the last tournament. This time, he decided to twist the chain all the way to the left, and that actually was able to give him a better strategy to make his way to the landing platform, because last tournament, when he went right, he got caught up and eventually coursed out. But from that point on, he had more than enough time left in the tank to be able to lift all the walls, get through the conveyor comfortably, and get to the buzzer. Thunder will be the first competitor this tournament to attempt the Conde Renewal's third stage. He has a lot weighing on him, but this means that he will have a chance to get his revenge on the pipe slider, similarly to Metal Spin. Volio, with 3.4 seconds left on the clock, is our first second stage victor. One man has already shown that the second stage is possible, and now the next competitor to run the second stage is hoping that they can clear it for their second time. It's NYC Stiff Sock 69, also known as V. Korakiewicz. Alex last cleared the stage back in Tournament 1, where he cleared with a very, very low time, only 0.8 seconds left on the clock. That's the only time he's ever been able to come out victorious on the second stage. Went down on Spider Walk back in Tournament 2, so if he wants to clear an arguably tougher second stage, he's going to need to go fast. And we're seeing that right off the bat here on Chain Reaction. That was a great first and second push, able to get very quickly down to the end of that first track and second, and now already on to Brick Climb. Gotta find a good pattern here. Never was able to attempt this obstacle, but he's able to get up and over without a problem. And now into Spider Walk, he was able to beat this obstacle that at least gives him his second best run. Gonna need to go for the squeeze, able to get that just barely. You can see him get into a climbing animation, but he's staying alive. About the same pace as Volio by this point. But here's a Metal Spin. Gotta get a good push. Also going to the left, pushing it, able to get to the dismount just the same. And now on to the final 2 obstacles. At this point on, there's no way you can fall into the water. The only way you can fail is running out of time. 13 seconds are left on the clock. Now it's even less. Not out of reverse conveyor as the klaxon sounds. NYC Stiff Sock has to keep going. Alex has a few walls left, but time is running out. He's got 1 second left. Gets the buzzer. Yes! NYC Stiff Sock 69. Just barely able to get through the second stage with the lesser amount of time that he was able to in Tournament 1, but still gets to the buzzer. And his technique on chain reaction was definitely the fastest that we've seen out of everyone. Those pushes ultimately were a lifesaver when it came to the end of his run. And then Spin Bridge was another competitor able to best it. And then Metal Spin, despite never attempting it in competition, was able to do the same technique that Volio just did, and it worked out for him, getting himself to the end of that obstacle. And then it was the final 2 obstacles of the stage, reverse conveyor and wall lifting, where he went a little slower than what's recommended, but still was able to lift each of the walls, even with a little bit of struggle, get himself right to the end. And that is 2 competitors through the second stage in a row. We got some momentum going. Cora now going to be able to attempt the third stage for his first time since Tournament 1. Every obstacle is practically different from then, but we know that he is going to be someone who will be able to try their best. The final stage looms in the distance, waiting to see if anyone will be able to attempt it. We have at least 2 advancing to the 3rd stage, but our next competitor wants to make it 3. It's the grand champion, Yas 12345 Yas has been on a hot streak for years by this point, and this has culminated in many people not even worrying if he'll make it deep. His consistency has always made him a contender to win. More often than not, it matters less if he'll make it to the 3rd stage, and more if he'll be able to clear it. His track record in Robloxian SASUKE is the strongest in the series, being the only competitor to complete the 1st stage in all 4 tournaments. Going past the 1st stage, he's 2-4-3 on the 2nd, and his 3rd stage performances have been incredibly impressive as well. Both times he's reached that point, he's made it to at least the final jump of the stage, failing it in Tournament 2 and then overcoming it and completing the stage in Tournament 3, with of course that final stage attempt ending with him on the top of the tower as a grand champion. Now, with one stage already down, arguably his toughest stage when it comes to renewals, it's time to see what Yas can do on the 1st stage he's actually shown struggle on in the past. When he's shown struggle with it in Robloxian SASUKE, it has been because of time. His sole failure on the 2nd stage in Robloxian SASUKE was caused by a timeout when he timed out on reverse conveyor. That obstacle back after a 1 tournament hiatus, so wants to be able to get there with enough time to not only keep his streak alive, but also be able to show that he's able to at least be a 2-for-3 on that obstacle. These 60 seconds on the 2nd stage is not a lot of time. Yes, traditionally likes to go slow on the 2nd stage, is usually a speedster when it comes to the 1st, but 2nd stage is a whole different ballpark. What? Yes! It's out on no reverse conveyor, but chain reaction doesn't even get to attempt it! And that is the earliest fail, not only on the stage, but in his career in general. On chain reaction, I thought he would have had no problem with that first transition. He knew he had to go fast, and you can see him taking a lot of very dramatic pushes, and that culminated in him not timing his release to the 2nd one with the perfect timing. He completely missed it, didn't even make contact with it. He was able to at least get off the 1st chain, but again, not even able to graze the 2nd one. Just missing it completely. If we see from Korra, the fast way is possible, but for Yas, he just let go way too late, and they're completely missing. He could have tried to at least get a backswing, but with the need for speed on the 2nd stage, that just was not an option for him. He says he expected that, but still, that is a very, very unexpected fail for anyone who looks at his track record. That is the earliest fail that he's ever had on this course. The grand champion will not be going to the 3rd stage. We are championless heading into the next stage, and this is something that we have not expected. Yas 12345 is in the water. It seems almost too soon for it to already be over, but all 5 runs have been completed, and Tournament 4's 2nd stage is as well. The skilled competitors attempted the 7 obstacles of the stage, and every obstacle, new and old, was a struggle to complete. Every portion of this course could have taken someone out, but 2 amazing athletes were able to complete the time trial and get themselves onto the next part of the competition. Volio and NYC Stiffsock 69 have both cleared the 2nd stage for just their 2nd time each, meaning that they're already somewhat familiar with what the 3rd stage has in store for them. Volio clears with the fastest time, not even 3.5 seconds, showing just how little room for error there is on the course. But now time is no longer a concern. It's all just about completing the obstacles. These 2 have arguably the hardest course up in front of them to attempt. It's longer than it's ever been before. Of course, what else would I be talking about other than the 3rd stage? The 3rd stage is reserved for only the most elite competitors to attempt, and these 8 obstacles are near impossible to complete in succession. Walk up the stairs to face the first of 3 new obstacles on the stage, Survivor. Hang from the underside of a table and navigate the ball through a maze until it reaches the end, where the goal is to place it in a cup. If a competitor doesn't time that release properly, the ball will not land in the cup, and they'll be disqualified. After that, competitors will face another new obstacle, curtain clang. Competitors must grab the trusses throughout the entire curtain and try and get to the succeeding one, all while making sure not to go too high and lose any potential jump height. Get to that raised dismount platform, and competitors are onto the obstacle that almost ended last tournament, Infinity Rings. Unchanged from Tournament 3, wrapping around the 4 rings is once again going to be a great challenge for the competitors, especially when the pressure is as high as it is right now. Then, competitors have the cliffhanger, and not no ordinary cliffhanger. Introducing the Cliffhanger Kai. The first transition is akin to the second transition on the old version, going up rather than staying at the same level. However, the second transition is where the differences begin. Competitors must wrap around the blockade, preventing easy access to the third ledge, and then try their best to stay on after the drop. This brutal obstacle that used to be the penultimate challenge now only marks the halfway point of the stage. There are still 4 obstacles left for competitors to do. Alongside that, from this point on, competitors are completely suspended in the air. The next time they'll touch the ground is the finishing platform, and it all begins with the supersized swing circle. The obstacle now has 5 rings instead of 3, and while the distance in between the rings remains the same, they all now ascend in height, meaning competitors only get higher up into the night sky. Get a giant swing on that final ring and head into another modified obstacle, Thunderbolt. The obstacle now consists of 5 bolts, with the middle 3 dropping, and the gaps in between each bolt have been increased as well, making this late game threat something that people cannot overlook. After heading to the 2 rest bars following the obstacle, the final 2 obstacles are all that's left for the stage, and this combo starts off with the Devil Blanco. Drop down to the bar and build up swing to get enough distance to head into the final obstacle. Too little swing and they'll come up short, and too much swing and they'll hit the rest bar and lose control altogether. If competitors can make through all 7 of those obstacles, all that remains is the pipe slider. While it's only 1 track as opposed to 2 in the past, the core function remains the same. Push the pipe down to the end of the track and then build up swing for its infamous dismount platform, a jump that neither competitor remaining has beaten. If they are able to do all of that, it'll make them just the second competitor ever to clear the 3rd stage and will attempt the final. There is no time limit, so it's only the competitors against the obstacles if they want a shot at becoming the next grand champion. Only 4 competitors have ever been able to attempt the pipe slider, and the first person to attempt the 3rd stage is someone who had a battle with it 2 tournaments ago and did not come out victorious on it. It's Volio. Volio's legacy in Robloxian SASUKE so far has not been the cleanest. However, it's been more than impressive. After failing a second obstacle of the 1st stage in Tournament 1, Volio bounced back in his sophomore season to get himself all the way to the 3rd stage, and he nearly beat it. However, he derailed the pipe slider and his run ended there. In Tournament 3, he was looking to repeat his successes, however, the new metal spin on the 2nd stage caused him to course out. So far this tournament, Volio's been unstoppable. He got his 3rd consecutive 1st stage clear and also avenged his metal spin failure when he completed the 2nd, advancing him to this point for just the 2nd time. However, in recent times, he has not been successful on 3rd stages, with him going down on just the 1st obstacle of Steel Castle Forest. Will Volio be able to be the first through the Content Renewal's 3rd stage, or will he be defeated once more? 3rd stages are not Volio's strong suit. He's able to make it far in some, but also in others, he's not able to go that deep. Swing Circle is the obstacle he failed in Steel Castle. It is back here today. He was able to beat it back in Robloxian SASUKE 2, but now it is a whole lot harder here. Volio's got to be able to reach that point. Getting halfway through the 3rd stage now is a whole lot harder than it was back in Tournament 2, and it all starts off here on Survivor. You can see him trying to maneuver that ball through the maze, trying to get it through each of those wooden boards onto the section where it is angled, having some trouble there getting it past that tiny section, but able to get it there. Going left and right on that board, nearing the end. Soon enough, will be getting to attempt to put it into the cup, and he's able to get it into the cup. So now Volio's got to be able to get himself to that dismount platform for him to be able to clear this obstacle and get over to Curtain Clang. Just a dismount left, able to get that there, and now on to Curtain Clang. Taking this 3rd stage run a lot slower than he did back in Tournament 2. He essentially raced through that stage. I think by this point he would already been onto Pipe Slider, but here, not even done with the 2nd obstacle, but going through Curtain Clang very, very smoothly so far, going onto either side of the trusses to get himself to the dismount platform. But here is the obstacle that only 1 competitor has been able to beat. It is the Infinity Rings. Going very quickly here, just 1 transition left. No! Volio was almost able to complete it. Had those first 2 wraps absolutely perfectly, but it was the last one that he got caught up on. And that sends him out on the 3rd stage for his 2nd time. This time, just 2 obstacles shorter than what happened in Tournament 2, but up until that point, Volio was great. The first competitor to attempt Survivor was able to beat it, and the same story with Curtain Clang, was able to get himself onto each of those trusses to get himself all the way through the obstacle, and on Infinity Rings, he was almost the 2nd to be able to clear. Those first 2 wraps, again, like I said, were absolutely perfect, but it was this last one, when he went for the wrap, got caught up, did not turn his character in enough to be able to get the gap into there, and unfortunately, just went into the water. said all that training was for nothing, but I honestly would disagree. Volio is one of 2 competitors to make it to the 3rd stage in a renewal. That is one of the hardest accomplishments in all of Roblox Ninja. That is 1 attempt and 0 clear, but still, an amazing run here from Volio. After last tournament, I was afraid that he would not be able to get back to the 3rd stage, but he has bounced back dramatically, getting himself all the way to this point, and while he was unable to conquer it, it still shows Volio is one of the strongest competitors in the course, even if he didn't get his revenge on the swing circle. Out on Infinity Rings, but there's a really good chance he could get his revenge in the future. The renewed final stage is looming over the course, and if our next competitor falls, no one will be attempting it. There's only 1 competitor left to take on the 3rd stage, but he's been in this position before. It's been 3 tournaments since he's been at the bottom of the 3rd stage stairs, but he's ready to give this course his best effort. It's NYC Stiff Sock 69. Alex's run in Tournament 1 showed us why at the time he was one of the best, making it to the 3rd stage with ease, but ended his run and the tournament at cliffhanger. He returned in Tournament 2 with another strong run, but Spider Walk would shockingly eliminate him. The unexpected failures continued in Tournament 3 with his Silk Slider fail, and heading into Tournament 4, many were concerned that he had grown rusty. However, his performances in this tournament have shown why he is still one of the best. And now for the 2nd time in his career, he is the last Robloxian standing. 99 competitors have fallen, and it's up to him to save this tournament. He is our last hope to see someone climb for cons and say ha. Last tournament, our last Robloxian standing was, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, and he was able to complete the 3rd stage and ultimately win. Alex wants to be able to continue that track record here, but we have not seen someone even get 3 obstacles into this 3rd stage. Volio out on Infinity Rings, still only 1 competitor has ever been able to attempt to complete it, and that is the Grand Champion. But here goes Alex onto Survivor, going side to side as he is moving this ball throughout the maze, going a little bit farther towards the end compared to Volio, who kind of stayed towards the front. But it is working out for him as he's nearing the end of the maze. It's getting closer and closer to where he's able to try and place it into the ball, but gotta make sure not to overshoot it. Able to get into there, and now just has to make his way throughout some of these few narrow tight beams to get to the end, and able to get there as well. And now has Curtain Cling in front of him. This obstacle Volio was able to beat, but still it is a very concerning obstacle. This obstacle, any obstacle that has trusses, it's very hard to be able to do consistently. So taking a whole lot of time here on the starting line, wanting to make sure that he's ready. Another competitor taking a whole lot of time here, and he is opting to go on the back sides of each of these curtains. He's going fast and going very low on each of these curtains. Don't want to go off of it, but he's able to get it. And he is through another obstacle. Now heading on to Infinity Rings, the obstacle that Volio just went down on. Gonna take another long pause there on the starting line. This run coming in direct parallel to his Tournament 1 run, where by this point he was already either at cliffhanger, or if his run was honestly already over. He went through that first tournament's 3rd stage incredibly quickly, this time taking it a whole lot more seriously when it comes to these rests. Wants to make sure that he is able to properly analyze Infinity Rings, especially given its track record. Out of 4 attempts on this obstacle, only 1 competitor has been able to see the end of it. And after that, you still got 5 more obstacles left. But almost missed the mount into Infinity Rings, but he's able to keep going. Another close call. Alex has to keep moving. Another close call. Come on. 1 more transition. He gets it. Now it's just a dismount. Yes! We have another clear on Infinity Rings. And now he is back at the cliffhanger since his first time since Tournament 1. Says winner chicken dinner, knows he is the golden competitor for the tournament. Regardless of how he does, he has landed himself in 1st place. But cliffhanger, this is an obstacle that he struggled on very much in Tournament 1. It was specifically the first transition. Couldn't even make it. Has a chance here to get his redemption here at the end of that first ledge. Alex! And the tournament comes to an end there on cliffhanger. We have reached Zenmetsu on the cliffhanger Kai. Fails in the same exact way as Tournament 1, but still able to do a very much more impressive run. Was able to get himself through Infinity Rings. Those first transitions were incredibly scary. That bounce there on that third one was really concerning. But that final transition was a whole lot cleaner. Cliffhanger though, unfortunately was not able to get through. Failed it the same exact way that he failed in Tournament 1. Tried to get the flick off of it, but then just could not get the jump in time. It went into the water. the same exact way, couldn't even get one ledge further. Let's see what he has to say on the sidelines. Alex, for the second time, you are out on the third stage, but you were able to make it farther than any other competitor at this tournament. That's better than you've done in any other tournament. How are you feeling about that?
I feel okay. Not that proud of myself, but at least I got redemption from last time around. Easily.
The cliffhanger, it's a very tricky obstacle. You failed it again. Was that something that you were expecting?
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't do it once during practice, so I knew for sure I was gonna fail there.
Yeah, and it's completely unfortunate because you failed the same exact transition that you failed back in Tournament 1. You didn't even get to that second ledge. You didn't even make the attempt to jump up to it. Just lost your grip right at the end.
Hey, I mean, to be fair, I was shit a couple years back. Alright?
Okay. But I think the highlight of this run has to be on the Infinity Rings. You had many close calls on that obstacle, but you were able to make it through and become ultimately the second to complete that obstacle, which is just an amazing accomplishment.
I mean, the obstacle wasn't hard at all. It's just the timing.
And that's fair.
I knew if I timed it wrong, then obviously I would fail.
Alex celebrating that first place run with a little dance near the cliffhanger, but still, no competitor was able to get through the cliffhanger. Both competitors left standing in the competition were not even able to get halfway, closing Tournament 4 out. But still, what an amazing accomplishment that he made it to that point. And with that, Robloxian SASUKE 4 has come to a close. The Kanza renewal promised a major difficulty increase, but still, 100 brave competitors, new and old, arrived to that first stage starting line to give it their best efforts as per usual. And while all of them tried their hardest to get through the obstacles, not a single competitor was able to get even halfway through the third stage, closing the tournament out with the earliest finish in Robloxian SASUKE history. Despite all the failures, there was still a great amount of success that was seen. The first stage had half of its obstacles replaced from the previous tournament and the other half modified alongside its strict time limit. The competitors could have very easily given up, but they all persevered. This tournament actually set the record for the most amount of competitors that were able to get halfway through the first stage with 32, and that shows a whole lot of progress within the competitor's skill. 17 competitors were able to get to the last obstacle of the stage, and the familiar foe of Swinging Forest proved to be a hurdle so difficult that 12 couldn't conquer it. 95 competitors were defeated on the first stage alone. That is one of the lowest clear rates in all of Roblox Ninja. Over half of the competitors who cleared the stage last tournament were nowhere to be seen on the second, but all this did was set up the most elite field heading into that point. Everyone who made it through the stage deserved to be there, with many who didn't still having great runs that reminded us of their skill despite the failures. In the second stage, the 7 obstacle sprint caused havoc for a few survivors, with 3 of them being unable to get through, including the Grand Champion. But that desire to fight persisted throughout everyone left in the competition, and everyone fought for the entire 60-second sprint to the buzzer. However, the third stage was where it all came to an end. No competitors were able to get halfway through the stage, but progress was still made. We saw just the second clear on Infinity Rings, and while no one got to the cliffhanger, it was great that someone even got to that point. The back half of the third stage still remains unattempted, and it's up to the future competitors to see if that will change. It will take some time, but eventually, the difficulty of the course will match up with the skill of the competitors, and we will see another man on top of the mountain. This tournament has been such a fun one to host, and I am so happy that a renewal of this caliber has been so entertaining. Keep practicing this course. The obstacles that you find challenging now may not be as difficult if you keep trying your best, and maybe you will be able to succeed. Until that moment arrives, this has been Jamie Dorino, signing off. We'll see you next time for Robloxian SASUKE.